Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Come Build With Me series, 15 minutes at a time. So, if you've forgotten, it has been a while. Come Build With Me is where I take 15 minutes at a time and I work on one of my building projects. I know most creators build a whole thing, like spend 3 to 8 hours building, speed up their video, and then post it online with them talking over it. I could do that. The problem is I don't build that much. I enjoy building, but I only have so many ideas. And I kind of figure 15 minutes at a time has actually been a breath of fresh air to me, just because I only have to worry about like one part for 15 minutes, and then if I want to spend another 15 minutes, I can, but I don't feel like I have to sit down and build the entire thing from start to finish all at once. So I think this has been really helpful for me, and I also hope by posting it online that it'll be helpful to somebody else out there, right? So come and build with me just for 15 minutes and listen to me chatter. I'm not a huge chatterbox, so I did script what I'm gonna talk about, which I feel like most people do. Let me tell you about this build. So we're doing a Greenhouse Nectary, which is supposed to be like a greenhouse, like you could go and visit botanical garden or a greenhouse anytime you wanted to. And I want to be able to do that in The Sims because I personally love doing that. And I also wanted it to be functional. You know, I didn't want it to just be a bar, which there's nothing wrong with bars, but it's cool to have something else there that your Sims can like do, like an activity or a skill. So I'm making it a nectary where they can go and pick the fruit and then they can make nectar. I really love this idea. I think in previous videos I talked about like Sims being able to come and make one when they get married or when their kid is born, and then they can storage it and pull it out a couple like Sim years later, right? I like that idea. And they can sell it or they can drink it, and it could just be a nice gameplay moment that has meaning to it. So I like that for my own gameplay. I'm definitely gonna use it at some point in my other series, my Not So Berry Challenge. Probably not for Peony and Irie, who I'm playing with right now. I'm on Generation 8. Because their situationship is unique. But once I go back to doing romances, I think this would be a very romantic idea. Let me pull up my reference photo for you guys. You can look at that with me. Last time, I kind of threw furniture down everywhere just to get a sense of what I wanted and where I wanted it. And then this time, I'm really going to focus on this entryway, making sure to make it feel the way I want it to feel, right? So, you can see in my reference photo, I've got the bar on one side, with a TV behind it, and then tables on the other side, where Sims can, like, sit down and enjoy and socialize with whatever drink they got. Or they can sit at the bar. I settled on 2 different bars instead of having one big one, because the big ones weren't quite fitting in the space that I was wanting it to, and I also didn't want to just have a small bar, so I opted for 2 small ones, which, you know, is actually helpful. I feel like a lot of times when I want my Sims to get better at mixology, I have to go to a bar, kick off the person working the bar, and sometimes it's a hassle. It's actually not like that bad, but when it's something your Sim is trying to do every day in your gameplay, it can get annoying. As the lot type is a bar, I figure the game will supply one, and then your sim can hop on the other one. And both of you can do it at the same time. It'll be great. And if not, it'll supply two and it doesn't solve the problem. But that's okay. I like the look of the two bars. So if it solves the problem, awesome. If it doesn't, that's okay. But I really like this brown color that I've chosen. I think it's just nice and soft, and it'll help really make this small space feel cozier. I also know that I really want double doors on the front. Big double doors. So we're gonna see if I can find one that looks good on the outside and on the inside, and what color is the best. While I'm looking for all of those things, I want to talk about my love for greenhouses and botanical gardens. Mainly so that you guys can get to know me a little bit, and because I just love talking about plants. It's like my thing. I will always remember my study abroad. It was amazing. I had the opportunity to go to France, England, and Scotland. And like the capitals of those, so of course Paris and London and Edinburgh. But we're also able to go to a couple other places in between all of those capitals. Are they called capitals? I think they're called capitals. I don't know. Sometimes being a states girly makes you think that everything is the same as for you, but maybe it's not. Yeah, okay, they are called capitals. I was just thinking, like, if someone said what's the capital of the United States, I'd be really confused. Because we have, each state is like, has its own capital. But, anyway, it was really fun. And it was beautiful. I was able to go in the summer when it was here in the United States. And over in France, it was like very nice temperatures. In England, it would like rain for like 15 minutes, and then it would stop for like an hour or two, and then it would rain again, which I love that kind of weather, so that was fantastic for me. And then in Scotland, it was like sunny, but it was very windy in Edinburgh, and like walking through the city was just like wind tunnel going up the hills. They have lots of hills there, so that was fun. That's like the word I can describe, is it was fun, it was amazing. I really loved seeing Europe, seeing those specific parts of Europe. And then, of course, the botanical gardens. I studied landscape design when I was in university, and that was what my study abroad was focusing on going to the gardens and learning the traditional way of a French garden, or an English garden, or a Scottish garden, right? Because over here in the States, a lot of people use those terms. They're like, oh, when I think of what design I want it to look French. I want it to look English, you know? And there are different aspects to both of those kinds of gardens that just distinguish them. And I won't talk about that, because that's not what this video is about. And even though I'm a nerd for plant and plant sciences, not everybody is. So I'll suffice it to say, I enjoyed my time there, going to botanical gardens. And what I really am going to talk about is one of my favorite parts, which are the giant plants. Okay? I've been to some botanical gardens here in the States too. And it's funny because when I was scripting this, I was thinking about it and I was like, wow, I've been to way less here in the States than I was going to in Europe. But that's also because I was on a study abroad to go to all of the botanical gardens and greenhouses. So it's not that the United States have less, it's just that I was more focused when I did my study abroad than I have been like living here. But the thing that I love about whatever botanical garden you go to, they always have gigantic plants. And there's just something so like magical or like fantastical about something that you've seen personally as a small thing, right? It's usually small, it's usually very, like, you're bigger than it when you see it in real life. And then you go to these places and they're just humongous. They tower above you and you're like, oh my gosh, how could it ever grow to be that big? So I loved taking pictures, and I'll have to bring one up for you guys because it was so much fun. I just love it. I can't say that anymore. I've said it way too many times. I'm starting to sound like AI. It's just so... It makes me feel like I've been isekai'd and I've been transported to a different land, you know? Or like, I'm in a Ghibli movie and everything is just so wonderful and magical no matter what, right? So, here's the picture of me. You can tell that I'm like over the moon. Just because it's so nice. I greatly enjoy it. So this happened a while ago, but I did settle on a nice set of double doors with little columns on the sides, and I chose white, I think. I don't remember if I stick with that color. But I've been trying to figure out the TV and the frame for the TV, and I think I found something that worked. I knew for sure I wanted to use the half cabinet across the top, and I wanted to use the juice racks. Just because the juice racks are classic. It really makes you think, yeah, this is a bar. And that's what I want, like, the feeling to be. Comfy, cozy, this is a bar. So, I got it all lined up. I got them to be the same color, which is great. I had to choose chairs, and I think I did a good job choosing the chairs. The frame has a little bit of a reddish tint to the brown, whereas the rest of the browns have like a gold, not gold, but like a bronzy tone. So I just need to choose flooring and wallpaper that really like ties both of those things together, and it's going to be difficult because you can only have so many shades of brown in a room and so many wood tones. So we're gonna look at that and see what I choose eventually. And of course, even though I'm focusing on this room and my goal for the 15 minutes is to get as much of it done as I can always do the rest of the build and come back and like adjust or change things. Obviously, I haven't added any like accents or plants. It's a greenhouse. There have to be plants. I have a specific room that I've set aside for plants to be growing, but I love the like plants you can put on desks in The Sims. And then I also have a whole bunch of CC for like hanging plants because it just adds so much to the room to have hanging plants in strategic places. I was about to say everywhere, and I was like, okay, not everywhere. They need to be placed strategically to add rather than distract. But that is something that I've always struggled with. So, yeah, that's my 15 minutes. I really hope that you enjoyed. You know, I hope that if you did build along with me, that it was fun and you were able to actually like accomplish something, even if it was just choosing the furniture for the room, right? Or the wallpaper, or I forgot what it's called. It's not carpet, the flooring. Even if it was just choosing the flooring, it goes a long way in the long run, right? So that's my room, and that's my 15 minutes. Thank you for coming and watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!